product, based with hard luck. Based with hard luck. Card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Pimps and card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Raw product, based with hard luck. Based with hard luck. Card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck. Pimps and card shots, thieves, murderers with hard luck.
Good morning and welcome to the Hard Luck Show. I'm your qualified, certified West Side, coming at you from the beautiful city of Los Angeles, California. Sitting across from me is my co-host and partner.
Is Chumahan, Bowen, American Indian, Southern Californian, elegant barbarian, coming with another fucking fresh fucking fire interview once again.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and that cool, crisp sound is coming from no other than Ol'Blue Eyes.
Oh, come on.
Come on.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Sean Lewis, certified audio professional engineer for the Hard Luck Show.
Master of suspense.
All right, we have an iconic apparel industry savant in the house. You guys, this guy is responsible for a lot of fucking big things happening in my culture, in our culture,
Right.
and in the apparel world, man. Been at it for a minute. You guys, I want to welcome to the show, Milli! Yeah! Whoop. What's up, Milli?
What's going on with
Welcome
you,
to the Hard Luck Show.
Hey, thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Came down.
Yeah, he did.
Been fucking with Milli.
Yeah,
Right.
man.
What's up, man? Where you coming from today?
The crib?
The crib?
Crib. Yeah, I got a couple things to do. I got artists I work with. She's having a release party tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like an in studio, like listening party. My
Okay.
bad. Yeah, and she's premiering her new single that just dropped yesterday.
What's it called?
It's called Energy.
Energy.
Yeah.
Energy. I
Featuring
like that.
Pink Sweats.
All right. Okay. Are you managing?
I am managing. I manage an artist by the name of Airplane James
Mm-hmm.
from the East Side, Los Angeles, South Central.
Any
Yeah.
relationship to Rick James?
Nah,
Okay, just checking.
but he's cool though.
Yeah.
Nah, he's dope. The key.
All right.
He's getting ready to drop.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys something.
Yeah.
I came across Milli. Milli was kind of somebody that was in like the peripheral of the business, doing a lot of things, as I was doing a lot of things in streetwear, urban, throughout Southern California, the Los Angeles area in particular. And a friend of a friend kind of actually ended up linking us. Big shout out to Monique. Ended up linking
shout out.
us and was telling me, Monique used to run the agenda shows. And she kind of positioned Milli as like, listen, you remember Champion, and as it kind of started growing and turning into something more than like an older athletic company,
Right.
and I was like, of course,
Right.
the whole industry was paying attention. She's like, Milli was really responsible for a lot of that. He works with a lot of artists, a lot of stylists, a lot of tastemakers. He's like a design guy, and that was kind of how you were brought to me. Let's talk about that,
Man,
like,
that's dope.
and how did you kind of get there?
Man, first off, got to shout out Marissa. Shout out Marissa. Shout out Manny. How I got there was I used to be I still am a really big vintage collector.
Okay.
Big on nostalgia. You know, I grew up in the 90s, was born in the 80s. Always wanted a lot of dope shit as a kid, and moms couldn't afford it all.
Right.
So when you get older, you like kind of like go back, and it's a little nerdy, but you know, you kind of pick up on those things. And what's crazy is it started to fashion was going in that route, right?
Right.
You had the snapbacks. You had a lot of things that were happening that were kind of based on nostalgia. And
Right.
I'm like, I lived it, you know?
Right.
So fast forward, was working with this store called Tried and True that was located on Fairfax.
Okay.
Fairfax in what?
But Fairfax in like Rosewood, right next to Fight Club.
Okay.
They still
right.
exist, but they actually have a warehouse in downtown. They actually have another spot at the. You ever been to the Row where the smorgasbord stuff
Yes.
is?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, they have another store in there. Shout out Ricky, shout out Crystal.
Okay.
They're responsible, be honest with you, because what I was doing at the time with my vintage clothing, I was actually consigning at their store.
What year is this roughly?
This is like 2012, 2013.
So this is why the hundreds is over there as well.
Hundreds been there. Hundreds was there like since like
2004.
Yeah, I was gonna say, exactly. Streetwear and all that, as streetwear, it's weird. It's a crazy time. I graduated high school like 04, right?
Okay.
At that time, a lot of the urban wear, so like, Sean John, FUBU, Rockaware.
Yeah.
You were transitioning, like kids like myself were transitioning out of that.
Absolutely.
Wanting to find different spaces. This is why people like, Kanye, Pharrell, they kind of were dressing a little different.
From your experience and from what you've seen, what do you think is the motivating reason why people started turning to streetwear?
Looking for something that identified for how we felt at the time. So I said that to say I didn't want to wear big ass baggy jeans anymore. Right. I loved hip hop.
Sure.
Right. That was my core. That was my base.
Right.
But I was a little different. And I kind of wanted to start emulating some of the nostalgia, some of the different fits. At the time, I tell people this all the time. It's funny. At the time, what we would consider they would call a young tee, which meant like short, like a shorter sleeve.
Right. Absolutely.
Right. At that time, things were so baggy.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. It happens. When old, right?
Yeah.
Old does something, young goes to the left or wherever old is at.
Right.
Right.
To try to like make its own identity.
Right.
Right.
So when baggy first came in, right, that was young kids saying, "Hey, we're going this
Fuck
way."
the old. Yeah.
Right.
So as baggy became the norm, what did young kids start doing?
Regress back
Going
to the
back.
young.
Skinny
Now
jeans.
watch this. We've lived through 3 cycles. If you look at the word, like my daughter's 14, right?
Yeah.
Took her to go school shopping. She loves this. She grabbed these pants. I think Empire is the name of them.
Okay.
And Zoomies. I actually recognized the cookies. That's why I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I saw
Shout out. Burn cookies.
Yeah. So the fit is baggy.
Right.
Right.
I'm like, wow,
bro.
this is full circle. Like I didn't watch baggy go to skinny to go right back to back. Because you know what happened? We made the older people made fun of the skinny jeans when the young kids were doing it, right?
Right.
I remember this, like Jay-Z, everybody has rap records talking about it, right?
Yep.
And then what did they do? Started to slim down their pants.
Yes.
Right.
So now they're slimmer, the kids are looking like, I don't want to look like
That.
Right.
because it don't matter how cool you are. It's just like I like even with my daughter, like I'm but yeah, I think here's the thing: fashion cycles.
Yes, and it's led by the youth.
It is,
Yep.
and you realize nothing's new under the sun.
No, it's all everything's a big circle. And I've watched it happen 4 times.
Right.
I'm a lot older. But you hit it exactly right. You know what I will say too? It was like there was a lot of hip hop and a lot of rappers that were coming out to the West Coast.
Yeah.
And spending a lot of time out here.
Mhm.
And I think that the influence of skate, some of the trendiness from the Hollywood rock, like some
Right.
of that started to penetrate
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
some of the hip hop artists, and those guys kind of wanted to define themselves. And in the beginning, they were getting made fun of,
Yeah.
goofball and this and that, and
Mhm.
but you're right. It was good.
LA, we've always kind of had skate culture in our
Always,
in our
man.
background.
Right.
You
And
got
rock
pictures
and
of
roll.
Easy E with a gun
And a skateboard.
and a skateboard.
Right.
It's like what?
It's straight Dickie suit,
Right.
Carhartt jacket, skateboard.
Skateboard.
But you
Because
want
the skateboard does symbolize on some level urban or city rebellion.
It,
yeah,
right.
absolutely.
But
Right.
when it got popping, I think in the earlier, right, it's like anything in the earlier days, right? Dogtown, that
Yeah.
era, it was that, and then
Right.
it got so popular that it got kind of corny.
Right.
So then that era saw it to be corny, right? But then when P-Rod, Terry Kennedy,
yeah.
that era, it was like, nah, this is cool. Then you had Pharrell, and you
Yeah,
had,
because you had those guys crossing over into a hip hop market.
Right.
I remember going to New York, and a lot of white boys from the East Coast were now starting to dress like they were Dogtown. They were wearing Vans, Levi's, flannels,
That's
and it was
crazy.
affecting them, and
Yeah.
it's a trip, man. And you want to know something? I grew up in a time in apparel. When I came into apparel, man, we would go to the trade shows, Magic, and these big trade shows, and we would sit there and barely write orders. And that's with Joker, Estelle on Cartoon, all of us. RP55, Sean John, Rocker, were massive, doing all the business. And New York had always
They had it.
had the fashion, man. That was where people, they didn't believe that the West Coast had fashion. You wanted fashion, you do anything you want to talk about. Fashion was New York.
Right.
And they were
Straight
buying
up.
everything in New York.
Yeah.
And I've watched the whole thing flip. And I watch everybody come to the West Coast. I don't care what you say. I mean, New York's trying to define itself with this and that, but it's us. We got the crown now.
It's the truth, man. I push LA culture like that, and I always tell people, like, you know, our fashion show, like our you know, like our fashion week is a joke, but I'm really trying to change that. And for me, what I would love to see is LA Fashion Week not be like New York Fashion Week,
right? Not
suits and shit like that, but seriousness. You know, like where these brands are displaying stuff here.
But you're onto something. You're onto something, because the reason it doesn't work is because LA Fashion Week has been trying to do what New York does.
Right.
If LA Fashion Week would just be organic, what we are, it would probably work without trying to be somebody else.
Let me ask you guys this then. This is an interesting point for the both of you, because on the one hand, I hear you guys saying, okay, so we should take what seems to be quote unquote casual or different West style, but take it serious. Doesn't it go against also the laid-back aspect of what kind of is the West?
That's a good point. I feel like yes and no, because okay, if you look at where fashion is right now, let's take Champion.
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
When I first started working for Champion, or working with Champion at first, right?
Yeah.
What I realized was people looked at Champion in this light because they were already kind of like in Walmart. But I remember the Champion when they were sponsoring the NBA.
Hell
All my Michael Jordan jerseys were Champion.
Right.
Right?
Mobb Deep, everybody was wearing Champion.
Come on. So brands, so like, well, with everything, right, it kind of goes up and down. So you're right. Like, there is that laid back approach. But look at where fashion's at right now.
Yeah.
Athleisure has been running it for the last decade.
Right.
When I was with Champion, that's what was pushing, was athleisure. So the hoodies were not just like a hoodie it was back in the day. It was like a moment.
Right.
Right? So when you look at even some of the higher end brands, everybody wants to be comfortable.
Yeah.
See, back in the day, fashion used to almost equate to pain. Like, you know what? Like, these shoes hurt my feet, but they're fashion.
Yeah.
Right.
Not now. Right? Not now. Like, New Balances go for like $200. They resell. They got New Balances that's reselling for $400. You know why I love them? I'm getting a little older. They're comfortable. And they're swag. Like, why not?
I think true too. A lot of that loans itself to New York is a much older state. It's older, bro.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
California was new.
It's the new. We were the new.
You know, we're not so uptight. We're not so. We are laid back, and I think that our apparel matches. And I think that part of the problem is us trying to take ourselves too serious and be this buttoned-up thing. That's not our culture.
No,
that is New York's culture.
That's right. That makes total sense. And since you brought up Champion, I guess it's a good entry point to find out, like, okay, so you're at Champion, you're doing whatever. How does one take a giant container ship that's been going in one direction, right, and start to
shift it? Organic shit. I mean, that's probably
let me
explain that though.
Let
me explain that. And when I say organic, like, we didn't do any ads.
Right.
We didn't pay people at first.
Right.
In reality, we fucked with who fucked with us.
Right.
Okay? So organically, Champion started to make segue because we built on what the brand was known for, the hoodies, right? They invented the hoodie.
Right.
Invented the hoodie. So that reverse weave,
that's awesome.
That reverse weave to this day is still one of the top tier fleeces of all time.
And that fucking side panel.
Oh, come on.
I mean, people referred to like a good hoodie as like, it's like a Champion hoodie. Yeah. They would say when they're like talking about a good hoodie, it's like a Champion hoodie.
It was the bar for hoodies.
Yes, yes.
So, you know, what we did, I say there's two things that I saw, major things that happened. The vintage. So let me go back. The vintage, right, was influencing, it still is influencing the current.
Right.
So what happened in the vintage world, like you saw, you know, like in Japan, they love the made in the US shit, you know. But like vintage reverse weaves were always, the bar was high. That's like even now, like Russell is kind of killing it.
Right.
Because the vintage world started to take towards Russell because Champion already had their wave.
Right.
But I saw Virgil when he had the Pyrex brand, before he did the Off-White brand, he was printing on Champion blank, like shorts. Right. Saw that. I saw when we had the relationship with Urban, and Urban started to kind of bring some of those different colorways, people was just going crazy. Because you got at the time, athleisure is top tier, right?
Yeah.
So who are the top tier athleisure brands?
Right.
Champion.
Yeah.
And Champion's, now a 100-year-old brand. It's
crazy.
known for what it's known for, which, now I'm at Pro Club, right?
Right.
And it's kind of like the same thing. And for me being from the West, from LA, you know what I'm saying? I grew up on Pro Club and was always known for the quality.
Right.
So when white tees or basics like essentials are popping,
Yeah.
it's
Well, I read, right? I read, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I read the Pro Club started like 1986 or something like that, right?
Yeah, that was when the company was founded.
Yeah.
But they weren't making like the tees that we know at that time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It was just getting kind of like started. Then what makes, let's just cut the bullshit. What the fuck makes a dope top tier white tee? Because I know some people, Mr. and Mrs. Earbuds, are listening like, a fucking t-shirt's a fucking t-shirt. What do you want from me?
Man, listen, that's super heavyweight.
Go ahead.
That's super heavyweight. I think the ounce, the weight of the cotton was crazy, right? Especially in the white tee era where you were wearing your white tee as an outfit. You wash it, it goes away. You know what I mean? It fades. Pro Club's always like kind of like stood the test of time.
Yeah.
And then the structure, the neck.
The neck was big, bro.
The neck.
What about
was
the
big.
neck?
It just held. Like, no matter what, the neck stayed up. I mean, I remember before Pro Club was even out there, like, I remember us running a piece of fucking elastic band through the neck of a t-shirt so that the neck would stay up. We used to do that in the joint.
That's OG shit.
So that it would stay up, man.
Really?
Pro Club, like, they were on that because something about, I'm just going to say it.
Do it.
Something about Chicanos and brothers, both of us, like, the neck had to be right. Like, if it was coming down,
that's
you start
sagging.
seeing your bones
Drunk,
and
you
shit.
get the drunk- drunk
Wongo. We'd call it Wongo. Not like you're a kid was wrestling on the ground. You show up and your shit's all. That wasn't cool, bro. That ain't cool. You want your shit tight. And I think that they found, like, the basic grading on it. They just got it right. Like, right where the shoulder falls, the length of the tee. If you were real skinny, it added some size. If you were real fat, it covered it up. It was like, it was smart, man. It was just smart.
They I asked Brian, like, what made them make it like that, and it was really, it's funny. The answer was kind of simple. It was like in the beginning they were selling other white tee companies like AAA or whatever, right? And they noticed, black and brown was their main consumer. We tend to be a little bigger. Right. And started to see that they would come back and buy the t-shirts because they would fall apart.
Right. Shrink up as soon as they washed it.
Come on. So he made the heavyweight, and I think we just grabbed it. It was never. That's why I love the brand. We chose the brand.
Yeah.
Brand,
Yeah.
It wasn't
Absolutely.
Like market it to us and none of that. It was just like, hey, we in the swap meet. This feels right.
I remember. Check this out. I remember buying a Pro Club. One of the first times I got a Pro Club.
Yeah.
I got a white Pro Club. I remember wearing it out. I didn't fuck it up. And I took that shit off at home and laid it on the chair. Right? A lot. Like, to be able to wear a t-shirt twice was dope. If you took it off and you kept that motherfucker clean, you could rock that motherfucker a whole nother day. So if you got a 3-pack of you're good for a whole week. You know what I'm saying?
You're set.
Yeah, man. And they were placed right in the right places. And man, you go get your white Nikes and your white tee, and like you can make an outfit out of those two things.
Dude, when you're talking about all that, you guys are talking about all this, I'm sitting there thinking like, man, these motherfuckers know a lot about t-shirts. They ain't fucking around. So what's the proper way to care for a fucking t-shirt that you really love? Like, how do you make that motherfucker laugh?
You make sure you don't get no food on it.
Right.
Shit. Take that motherfucker off if you're gonna get into a fight, or if you're gonna eat spaghetti, you take that motherfucker off.
Preserve.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and you get on your washing skills too, man.
Yep.
Like, what's the way?
Turn it inside out.
First
Sure.
off. So if you got graphic on it, for sure. But I tend to hit the neck with the spray and wash.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Wash
That
it
shit.
cold.
Cold.
And I don't tumble dry. If I do it, I tumble dry low, or I'll hang it. I used to hang dry mine. hit it with that iron.
Yep.
Oh.
Then he come back to life.
Yeah,
on.
because that
You know?
dryer will destroy a fucking t-shirt,
Yeah,
right? If you
yeah.
put it on hot.
Right. But you could, it was built well enough that you could do that.
Yeah.
And you got to imagine, you're dealing with a bunch of other t-shirts that as soon as you fucking washed it was a wrap.
wrap.
You were giving it to your little brother. It was a shoe rack.
You would wipe shit with it, or
Yeah, dude, it was a wrap.
Yeah.
So it's still, dude, amazing to the whole apparel culture what happened with Champion.
Yeah.
I mean, when brands just straight up started printing their logo on a Champion, and it's straight up Champion logos.
Yeah.
Like if you weren't printing on a Champion, you were late.
Yep.
It's crazy. Like it was co-branding. Like it was crazy,
it
man.
was amazing. And then when we did the collab with Supreme, that just
dude.
kind of like took things
Sure.
out of here. And then we did like one with Ventmont. It was crazy. We had like $1,000 tracksuit. You know what it is though? I saw the rise and the fall too. Because right now, can't give Champion away.
Well, yeah, they went ahead and just started throwing it on everything, dude.
And
Lunch
that-
boxes, socks, slippers, like
Come on.
Saturate.
And that's where you got, to me, I learned a valuable lesson there. Like, you want to make the money or you want to, be forever.
Right.
Not to say Champion's not forever because they did their thing. When you make your mark, but that white, hot, cool space, I don't see it for them anymore.
How do you guys see t-shirts, clothing? How do you guys see it changing? Like, how is it evolving or changing? Like, we know there's cycles, but then also, is there something else that's happening that you guys are like, that's kind of crazy or that's interesting?
I don't know. I'd like to hear your take on that.
What I do see is people don't like big ass logos no more. It's much like the kid, like my daughter. The thing, it's very minimal. I do see, like we talked about, the fit being a little more loose, comfort.
Yeah.
And I think people want shit that lasts. Okay, you look at like America used to build, like our whole thing was like built to last. Every brand that America like kind of produced,
Right.
was that, and I think that was a cool thing. But I think it also, they started to realize like, nah, if it lasts, we can't make no more money.
You can't sell another
right.
one.
So people started to make fast fashion, and you know what I mean. And what's happening is, okay, fast fashion is ruining the world. Like I got into like sustainability, and I'm seeing like, yo, we don't even have anywhere to put all this shit.
Right.
People are being more conscious, and then also people are more conscious with everything, like how they spend their money. If I'm gonna spend my $40 on a t-shirt or whatever I'm buying, I want to buy something that's gonna last me quality wise. Also, I want to buy into brands that are gonna last for a long time. I don't want to buy into a trend,
Right.
because we've all seen them.
Yep.
Right. And now it's it's a parody piece or something like that. Like where, that's why I love about Pro Club. It's forever. The same way I rocked it as a kid. The kids now are rocking it.
That's interesting. So the influence, or whatever you want to call it, of fast fashion is maybe starting to push people in the direction of thinking longer term about their clothing.
Yeah, people are paying attention. I don't know. I see. It's still interesting to me because I don't know exactly where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
I could say what I feel. Also, too, pop culture is always gonna influence.
Right.
So it takes somebody that the kids look up to or something like that.
Sure.
They go this way. People are going that way. There's
Right.
there's only so many leaders and so many followers, right?
Right.
So I'm excited to see where it goes, but I think that where it's gonna go is brands are going to have to stand on what they say. Well, no matter what it is, no matter what you represent, stand on that, and the buyers are going to flock to where they feel they're a part of.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like something they can get down with.
I absolutely agree. And I still stand on, I still truly, truly believe, like, when you get lost in all of it, if you started off with quality and you come back to quality, I think, like, at the end of the day, if you're really, really making quality shit, people are going to remember that. People are going to, look at, everybody has a pair of shorts that got holes in them and they're old or whatever, or a hoodie that's
Yeah.
and your old lady wants to throw that shit when you're like, no, because you love the way it fit. Now, it might not be the cool brand anymore. It might just be played out, but you're like, nothing fits like that. Like, I've had those forever, and they fit. Like, you remember shit like that.
That's
you
real.
remember when you get something, you're like, fuck, this motherfucker, like, and then you're like looking for, like, I'll buy another 2 of these in this color if I can find it. I think that quality has a lot to say to it, and I think that there's brands that haven't fallen down the line of the whole of the hype.
Yeah.
That have not lost their I don't know what the word is, but they've stayed kind of true to like all the noise and all that. They're like, we're just building quality goods. We're going to stay right here and just build quality goods. And I think those brands, whether they go up or down, they continue to stay in business because their focus is making quality premium goods.
That's it. Look at Vans,
Yeah, man.
Chuck Taylors.
Right.
Yeah.
Why did Chuck Taylors last so long? Like, why is that an icon? That's
It's the silhouette, right? And then it's like there's no wrong way to wear a Chuck.
that's so fucking true.
You know what I mean? Like it's probably the most. I would say out of all the clothing brands, it's the brand that has no color line.
Yeah.
Like everybody,
Yeah.
he could wear Chucks away. I could wear them my way.
Right.
And you could personalize it too. So it's like you can give me a black Chuck, but I could put fat laces in it.
Right.
Right.
Or I could tie him tight and wear him beat up. Or I
Or-
could keep
Right,
mine
right.
fresh.
Right.
You could have like some like punk dude or whatever
Yeah.
write a bunch of shit on the
Right,
fucking
right,
thing,
right,
right?
right.
It
That's
allows
so
you
true.
to personalize it.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually coming in too, is personal style.
Yeah,
Right?
man.
Like when I was younger, not having stuff, you got creative. You know what I mean?
Hell
like,
yeah, you did.
like-
No, you did. You be washing
Rolling-
shit with bleach on it and
Oh, dude,
making
I
it your
bleach
shit.
shit,
I think
making
it.
it your
I
own
bleach a
shit.
fucking jean jacket.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, that shit was cool.
Yeah.
I remember
Right.
motherfuckers were grabbing, like Marcel was grabbing Sharpie markers on like
Right.
denim jackets,
Right.
and doing a whole collage for motherfuckers.
You wouldn't
and
be
they
able-
wear that jacket every day to school.
Yeah.
You know?
And you wouldn't be able to buy that anywhere else.
No.
That's it.
So, so thinking about through all those things, right?
Mhm.
And I know you're a good man. Are there any T-shirt or logo misfires that are classic misfires? Where you're like, yeah, that didn't like the polo where it had like the giant jockey on a horse, and then like
Oh,
I
man.
fucking hate that.
The
When I
U.S.
see some-
Polo Company
when
or
I-
whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
when I see
Polo
someone-
assassination.
Is there any misfires where you're like, yeah, that there's no way that was gonna go good? That
So
was-
good. You know what? Let me think. The G Unit white
Oh
beaters.
man, dude, yeah,
Those
That's
white
a good
beaters,
one,
remember the
dude.
white-
Dude with the one, yeah, dude, garbage. Man, that's like you see somebody wearing that, you walk the other way because they're trying to rob you or they're trying to break into your shit. That's a dirty motherfucker right there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, maybe that. Maybe Hillies.
Oh,
Man.
Hillies, the built-in skate.
the one with the,
Oh,
the
Heelys,
fucking
dude.
wheel in the heel. or
Yeah,
whatever.
Heelys.
Dude,
I mean,
King Salmon was rocking that, bro.
Well, of course he was. Yeah, I'm sure
he was the Healy champion, bro.
There was some real like, I won't sweat like when Von Dutch came out in the beginning. They did some shit that was like, they hit it, man.
Yeah.
Famous Stars and Straps rode on that trend wave of belt buckles. But when fucking Ed Hardy came out and it was like super motherfucking rhinestone giant, right? Like
Yeah.
that shit was like,
Yeah.
man, dude, I
Dragons
couldn't
and,
take that
and-
shit, man.
Any
yeah.
chance the Malibu Divorcee juicy sweats are gonna come back? Is that coming back anytime soon?
You know what?
You might.
Wine mom
they've
sweats.
They've kind of had little pockets because you know what? No, believe it or not, because like how for me growing up,
Yeah.
the 90s and the 80s were like my nostalgia.
Mhm.
That 2000s is nostalgia.
Ah, so how fucking old I'm getting, bro. 2000s is
Nostalgia. I'm like, I was in high school, bro.
Yeah.
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 I remember when everybody was starting to do that silhouette. Everybody was making those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then I remember when like Free City came out and they started doing like next level enzyme washes and really comfy soft and fucking all the girls in fucking Malibu are wearing Uggs and fucking
Yeah.
Free City,
Yeah.
you know?
Right,
Um,
right.
But it's a trip, man. I think also a lot of sometimes what happens is you'll take like that that hoodie might be a popular trend item, but then somebody will take it and they'll expound on it.
Yeah.
And they'll make it really, really, really dope. And then it's almost undeniable, at that point in time.
Yeah.
Injecting real quality and really taking your time doing shit. But, man, so now let's bring you up to speed a little bit.
Yeah.
You're at Pro Club now.
Yeah.
Making it happen, dude. And, like, what's your title? What do you got? What's your main thing at Pro Club?
I started off doing a little product placement. Because I have a wardrobe stylist background too, so like my side hustle is like I'll style artists and stuff like that, and I did a couple videos and got the brand placed. And shout out to Brian, he was just like, hey man, let's work. I want to see what you can offer, and he didn't really even know too much about me. That's what's crazy. He didn't know about the whole champion thing. When we sat down and I kind of like explained what I saw for the brand, what I've done in the past. We've kind of just been working as we go. So I'm like, it was kind of cool because I'm like, I don't have like this official title, you know what I'm saying, for Pro Club. I kind of work as like I would say like a creative director.
Right.
You know what I mean? I help, connect some dots, help some things happen, some collabs happen. We did one with Shirt King Fade last year, which is an OG airbrush artist from
Dude,
like
that
the
shit
80s.
is dope, bro.
Yeah, that one was sick.
Fire.
That was sick, and he gave us the paid in full font, so it was cool. We did this event at LA Varsity in Silver Lake. It's like a vintage store, and shout out to the homie Bailey. He has this called Vintage Beamers, and he has like all the vintage Beamers.
Really?
And Benzes. Pulled them out, bro. All the whole parking lot was like full of vintage Beamers and
That's
Benzes.
dope, dude. Remember that?
It's like you
motherfucker?
walked into the 80s, bro. Like when people when people were pulling up, we had like hella artists and people there, and it was like when they pulled up, you saw all the whips. And I had the homegirl Harley spinning. She spins vinyl. So we were spinning we had Jansport J spinning. He's a producer. He's dope. It was so ill, bro.
You know what's interesting? What you just laid out there, and maybe as a sort of creative director, let's just say, an artist.
Yeah.
I mean, let's stop fucking around. An artist, all right? And a curator, procurer of fine everything. I am kind of curious because I also do see an explosion of nostalgia. And do you think there's going to come a point in time where nostalgia itself has saturated the market and people are going to want to find something out of that, something futuristic?
For sure. But you know what's crazy? Even if you dig back to nostalgia, you go to like 70s mod.
Yeah.
There was some. See, when I look at nostalgia, I look at what worked, and I also look what like didn't all the way work.
Dude, I'd love to pick your brain on what didn't all the way work.
Right? There's things, and even with songs, there's times like people sample songs. It's like that wasn't all the way the biggest hit, but we liked it, and now it's a hit. So I look at if you go back in time, like we said, nothing's new under the sun, right?
Yeah.
There's so much to pull from.
Right.
And if you mix that with something else, you're gonna create something else.
Sure.
So I do feel like I even think now like people are searching for something new. People don't want to just go back in time and do that anymore. But
I also feel like when you look at the palette of history that you want to sample from, I also see that in some ways it's a little bit limited. Like there's so much, like let's say America, right?
Yeah.
And if you wanted to go back before the 50s.
Yes.
And then you also wanted to look at people of color, American Indians. Obviously, I'm an Indian, so I'm interested in pointing that out.
Dope.
I would think that it would be interesting for somebody to start pulling a little bit more from a wider net from nostalgia that people might not even know.
I agree with that. I think anywhere where there's culture involved, right, it's gonna go beyond just that time period that we know of.
Right.
Right. I think I agree with you 110%. I think that we have to go beyond and we have to think different. Like if you look at like I use Kanye a lot because I think he's like a futurist when it comes to fashion.
Yeah.
His things aren't always like hit right on the dot, and you go back and go, damn, he did set that trend, right? We had that moment where everybody was kind of wearing like the sandy color, you know what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
And that was kind of
earth tones,
and it's like kind of like giving like year 3000 civilian, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where everybody's like kind of like on the same thing. I think that he's pushing that, and I think that's dope. But I do feel like, here's the thing. The world's big.
Right.
Not everybody's going to be on one thing.
Sure.
Right? How you dress, how I dress. How you,
Right,
we
right,
all
right,
have
right.
our own. So you're going to have, you'll have things that are like really popular, but then you're going to have things that always still live. Like, you know, I saw Supreme, and one thing I loved about them, they stuck to their guns. And if you look at them, right, you had that moment where everybody was doing like this all black and drapey stuff, and they never folded. They were like, we're a skate brand, we're doing this, we're staying true to this, and it came back around, and then they were like booming, you know. And if you look at, that's why I think Louis Vuitton could collab with Supreme, because if you stay true to you and don't move with the times, it'll come back around. Yeah, you may not be as hot or popular, but it'll come back around.
Fuck, I was just having a talk with the creative director. 4 minutes?
No, but we're at 10 minutes away from when Millie's got to bounce.
I was just talking with the creative director, and this guy works for a brand, and right now there's a lot of other things going on. And this brand is in a position where they're kind of like, they're stable, but there's a lot going on around them. And maybe some of the heads of that company that aren't the creative director are kind of starting to be like, why don't we, like, guys that aren't design guys. And the creative director's like, dude, this is where the thing always starts to go south, bro. Because people start doing things that they're not.
Why do they
And
do that?
It's because they're scared. Because they're operating from a piece of. Now, what got them to where they're at was operating from a place of faith, from a place of creativity.
Right.
You're not scared. That's what got you there.
Right.
So as soon as you get there, now there's the fear that's kicked in of losing this. You know, maybe you're overspent. Maybe you've built this giant thing. You think it's. And I feel like that's where people move off the pace. And when you do, that's your death of you. As soon as you go down. And I think that, like, being smart and creative and maybe pulling it in some places and doing what you need to do. Maybe you're not going to have giant margin right now. Maybe you're not going to have huge buys right now. Stick to what you do. Bring it in different places so that you don't have to compromise who you are.
That's
You know
it.
what I'm saying?
Right.
You can still be innovative and do new things without losing your core values.
Exactly, man. And I think that, like, it's loss of creativity. Some of these people get, you know, and some of the people that are maybe the money or the finance or the numbers are now starting to trying to edge on the creative people.
Because if they slapped everything on there while we were hot, would they make money? Yeah. But did they think about now?
Nope. It's a numbers game, and it's a lot of these companies go public or they're sold, and now you got numbers people.
Right.
The numbers have to keep on going up. Keep on going.
And you'll keep making those kind of moves. So you're like, okay, the brand's not cool now. All right, well, we'll just sell in Marshalls.
Right.
Oh, well, we'll just sell, and now you're back in Walmart.
It's a machine. It's turned into a machine.
I knew a guy that used to work at Marshalls. He said it was a nightmare.
Yeah, we know a guy from Marshall. I mean, I think that happens, and I think that I think the whole money grab thing, the whole flipping houses and buying houses, and you know, like that whole shit, it makes me sick. It fucked the market up, and I go back to doing stuff. Small creative stuff, and you know, and that's what's crafted hand, small runs, take your time, do something special, work with your hands. That's the type of, like, that's what I want to see start happening, you know what I'm saying?
And just on some human shit, it's integrity.
Yeah
People don't have integrity anymore.
I don't know. Well, so
I'm not saying like not everybody.
No, of course. And but I'm also saying, when I hear that, I agree with it to a certain extent. Like, you could say business and this and that and finance even, right? It's all gotten. Problem is that I feel like at every generation or at every moment in history, we're like, oh, that's not how it used to be done. That had like integrity, right? Or whatever. And so you can kind of say that. And I think that the business systems in which we live encourage this kind of revolution, selling out, going bankrupt. Then the vultures come in, buy up all the old pieces, resell it, and all this other stuff. And that's kind of what's going on. But I do think, and I'm no fucking expert, but I do see that this idea of mass production from a labor standpoint seems to be ending a little bit, and we're entering a zone where it's going to start to become. Why don't you speak on it, Lux? I saw you light up.
Because when I was, man, dude, I want to say, like, there was definitely a point in time where everybody wanted to be fucking mega fucking wealthy.
Right.
And I saw that, and that lasted a while, man. And I was in a flux of time in business where everybody was and today I'm starting to meet people in their 20s that are like, you know what? I don't need a fucking 10-bedroom. I don't need fucking 50 cars.
Right.
I don't want fucking hundreds of millions of
Right.
dollars.
Right.
I just want, and I almost want to say, I don't want to use the word minimalist, but I want to use a word where they're like, I just want to be comfortable, man. I just want my friends around. I just want to do cool little shit. Yeah. That was not I wasn't hearing a lot of that fucking 15, 20 years ago.
It's true. And you know, the Gordon Gekko, the fucking Wall Street sort of idea that greed is good, the payoff was still there. So people were killing themselves at their jobs, 80 hours a week on the fucking floor and whatever. But it was because the jobs were there and there was still some gold to be gotten. And I think a lot of people now, a lot of young people that I've talked to, and I've fucking been hiring lawyers and all these bullshit motherfuckers. Anyway, but a lot of them are at a situation where they're like, they don't see the payoff anymore. They're going to put in 80 hours, and that $100 million actually might not be there. So why the fuck am I going to break my neck?
I would think that there's some of that, and I think that society has seen the repercussions of that shit, man.
Yeah, because what does $100 million mean if there's a meteorite or people got COVID? And like, what is that?
Well, that too.
No spaces is like, what does that even mean?
Exactly. I mean, you're talking. I mean, there's a generation of people that just saw the whole world get turned off.
That's so
and it
true.
didn't matter what you motherfucking had. You know what I'm saying?
And you got to remember too, we forget that the United States is still a young culture.
It is.
Yeah.
Right?
It is.
We don't. I was thinking about it on the way over here. So this idea of the mega millions and we haven't filtered through all that stuff yet.
I think quality of life is becoming something more important today.
For
I think,
sure,
you know, like
man.
I like stuff like this, organic shit, and fucking getting to understand humanity and people. I think is important. Listen, man, me and Millie, are working on some great stuff, man.
Yeah.
And I want to say, like, shout out to Burner and shout out to Brian over at Pro Club. You know, Burner, he mentioned a post. You're gonna start seeing it come up, man. Burner's worn Pro Clubs every day. I think for the last fucking 20 years, 18 years or some shit. He loves the brand, and I think it was a dream come true if he could work with them. I mean, that's a really big gold star if you can somehow. And Cookies and Pro Club have got together to do a limited exclusive. Hold that thing up, man. That thing is bad.
Crazy.
It's a triple pack of Pro Club tees, right?
Yeah, right here.
And it's got a custom label inside.
Yeah.
That's a custom color blue Pro Club that only Cookies does with them.
What blue is that? What would you call that?
That's Cookies blue.
Cookies blue.
Cookies blue. Got their own blue.
They made it special for us. They put in this beautiful, beautiful plastic fucking durable bag. It's Pro Club, man. We get to ride on the tails of an established iconic brand. And we know we're dropping this on August 19th. At the Cookie Store on Melrose.
Pull up.
You pull up with their surprises. I'm not even going to get into it. Just, you need to pull up, and anybody from LA that's been rocking Pro Club and got a love for this brand like we do, you need to pull up. We got something special for you. So, you know, August 19th, make sure you pull up Friday, August 19th. Millie's going to be there. I'm going to be there.
For sure.
The team's going to be there. A lot of people going to be there that you're going to want to see.
Right.
You know?
That.
And we're going to do something special, man. And we're going to combine some old and some new and create something new with it. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Community.
Quality
cannabis meets quality fucking clothes. Is that right?
I fuck with that.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Millie, man, let us know where people can find you. They want to check you out.
I mean, I do. I got a social media.
Okay.
I got Milli for Really. That's MILLI, the number 4. Really REALLY at in front of that. That's it on IG.
Instagram.
I'm not a Twitter guy.
Okay.
You know, you gotta catch me on there.
Hey man, cool. There's a rumor going out, dude.
What's up?
You were in a movie, dog. One of my favorite
How many
movies,
times does
man.
this come up?
Man.
How many times does this
Come
come
on,
up?
man.
I mean, we spent the whole time
We'll talk
biting
about
our
it.
tongues.
I just need to know, bro.
Yeah, come on, bro.
Yeah, so shout out to the Hughes brothers.
Yeah.
I was in a movie called Menace to Society.
Yeah.
By the way,
At least 70 times.
Damn.
Why is that your favorite
I
movie?
don't know, man. It was like it came out at a really like a a critical time in my life where there wasn't that kind of shit on TV.
Yeah.
To me, Boys in the Hood was cool, but it was kind of corny too, in a certain way.
I feel that.
And like, I don't know, Menace to Society was like raw and like.
You know what I tell people, especially from LA. Boys in the Hood, and that's not because I don't want to say the corniness of it, but Boys in the Hood was a West Side movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Menace is like an East Side movie,
Mm-hmm.
and if you from LA, you know what I mean. Like Kane and Odall were like from Watts, you know,
Right.
that area, and Boys in the Hood kind of spoke on Crenshaw district, and I think that too there was. The Hughes brothers kind of had, if you look at everything they've done, they have this raw style.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So they kind of told the story like uncut. Like it was like, as a kid, did I know what it was gonna be?
Right.
Nah. I didn't. I just knew that Jada Pinkett was my mom. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Damn, dude.
But yeah, I'm happy. It's dope. Like looking back, that I was a part of something so classic.
Cultural.
Yeah, cultural, man.
Right,
yeah.
man.
To the city. And what's crazy is I'm working on something. I actually got to talk to you about this, but
Yes.
next year is the 30-year anniversary for the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I want to do something special, in the city.
You're the
for it.
guy that should. You're the right guy to
You know,
do that, bro.
You know what's crazy is like I always shied away from it as a kid.
Right, of course.
I never really told when people would ask me, I always like, even when you guys said that, I was like, yeah, I can get out of here without saying it. Because I don't know, I don't know, I always didn't want that to be my cap, I guess.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
But as I got older, I've learned to like appreciate, like, hey, bro, you was in a classic movie. That's dope. You know?
Right.
And some people know, some people don't. So I think it'll be a good opportunity for me to like kind of tell that story.
Yeah.
I think it really legitimizes you in some arenas of what you're about and what you do and where you're organically what you do, especially in fashion and apparel and music. It's like, I think it's great, man. And I didn't want to let you off the show without bringing it up.
For sure. And I do want to say this. That whole movie, like, I dressed myself, bro. Like,
self style.
Yeah,
I
of
wasn't
course.
like an actor kid. Like, I was just like an organic kid, and they kind of found me, But
Oh man, I gotta
cross
hear
colors
that.
and
I gotta
all
hear
that
that
stuff we was
story,
wearing,
man.
that was like
Yeah,
all
yeah.
I
gotta
owned.
hear that story,
Man.
We gotta. He's
awesome.
gotta come back.
Yeah, man.
Hey, let us brag about. Let us put it out there, and you can be the humble one.
All right.
There you go.
That works.
All right.
That works.
Millie, for really, hey man, it is. I appreciate you taking the time
Man,
coming
thank
down.
you.
Man. I know
Yeah,
you're a
thank you for
busy,
having me.
busy man.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
I'm gonna see you next Friday.
Yep.
At the Pro Club Cookies release,
Man.
and let's
August
just keep.
19th.
Hey, what
Yep,
time?
August
19th.
19th.
What time is that?
11 a.m.
11 a.m.
Cookies Melrose.
This is your sneak peek. People in the know. You heard it. Let's go.
Absolutely. But yeah, we're gonna continue to build, man. We're gonna
Yes, sir.
continue to build, and I can't wait to hear about your plans and what you have next. And Hard Luck Show supports you.
Yeah.
Man, look forward to it. Thank you
yeah,
guys.
thank
Yeah,
you. All
appreciate
right.
you.
Ovando Bowen LLP, we wear braids to court. Let the tomahawks fly. The best legal representation that money can buy.
Sean.
Sean at movemental.media for all your audio and podcasting needs. And
Right.
don't forget www.hardluckshow.com.
That's right. Gumroad. You can get the proto episodes, LA Crime mixtape. You can get episodes that you haven't even heard before. Free
That's right.
stuff, right?
Free stuff.
Sean just fucking breaking down music like a savant.
Yep. www.supermaxhardware.com, our biggest sponsor, as well as www.cookiessf.com, vibes, papers, and candle buds. Hey, big shout out to Pulpo Beard Oil.
Oh, Pulpo.
And big shout out to Enzo's Pizzeria.
Yeah.
And they're sending some stuff over later. Too bad you're not going to be here because we got some pizza coming.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, say good looking out, everybody. Thanks again for having us on. People, keep an eye out. Cookies and Pro Club, August 19th.
And your artist? Sorry, go ahead. I didn't
An
mean-
artist?
Oh, Airplane James,
And?
Nakia Gold.
Yeah.
Also look out for Soraya, man. She's doing it. Actress and artist. She's dope.
Awesome.
you go.
All right, so I didn't mean to step out. August
It's all
19th.
good. August 19th at the Cookie Store. Let's do this.
Let's do this.
Hasta la vista from the Hard Luck Show.
So what are you gonna do? All All I'm saying is survive.